Hi everyone, it's Natalie here with Sanskrit Blue Tarot. Welcome. So this is our weekly tarot guidance for the week starting the 18th going through to the 24th. And this week, this is my second time attempting this video because I got a little bit thrown off. So I chose this week to read with the Osho Zen Tarot, which some of you may know already is a deck that I used to read with for myself for years. And because of that, and because of my, I'm working on seeing this deck with fresh eyes. The first card I pulled, which I'm going to go ahead and keep as our first card pull, threw me. I just thought, I don't know if I can read this deck or not, but it's because of my old associations with it. So this is a funny experiment. I'm going to ask y'all to bear with me a little bit. So the reading, the spread that we're using is the weekly forecast spread by Benebell Wen. So we're thinking of what the energy will be with us, most present with us, rather than the spirit, because her deck is, you know, there are spirits attributed to each card, or benevolent attributed to each card, and most other decks that's not quite the case, but the energy is definitely there. So the first card that I pulled or drew with this deck is Beyond Illusion. So normally this would be a judgment card, and the energy that I feel is going to be with us is something that is obviously transformative. Right? So something inside of our minds and our ways of viewing the world is in a place of transformation. I would say too that the energy or the spirit of transformation and the ability to see things in a more transpersonal way is going to accompany us in the next week. Yeah. I think we're also going to be, for some of us, we're going to be called to sit down and look at situations more transpersonally, like looking at the bigger picture, using discernment and exercising discernment to get to the truth of things. So Beyond Illusion, you know, tells me that we're looking more deeply at things, where we need to bring the energy of investigation and a desire, you know, curiosity, a desire to know more. What's beyond this that I can't quite wrap my head around? What can I not see that might be here, that might be important? I think is the energy that we're going to be working with. Yeah. Okay, so the second card is going to be what is in my highest interest to make this week's priority? So what is in our highest interest to make this week's priority? Oh, wow. Okay, so another major. And this time it's creativity. So the Empress. In any other deck, this would definitely be the Empress. So, wow. Yeah, what do we want to create? What are we in the process of bringing to fruition? Of course, this makes sense because the phase of the moon that we're in, you know, it's waxing. It's definitely waxing gibbous. So we're approaching the full moon. You know, what is it that we want to bring into fruition in our lives, in other people's lives, it's definitely on a personal level, you know. I think, too, if we were looking at the two of these together, do I need to go this way? That might make more sense. Yeah. You know, as we look at these two together, you know, if we're bringing a sense of truth to the things that we're creating, right? If we're very discerning, if we're very attentive to the impact our creation has, I think, on the greater, you know, on a more transpersonal level, right? The first septenary is personal. So we're looking at personal things, and yet, you know, that we're trying to create, and yet there's a reminder that whatever we do on our own, it's connected to everyone else. It's connected to the greater good. It's connected to all other living beings. And this, of course, is the teaching of the Heart Sutra, of interbeing. But we need to keep in mind, or we need to keep that energy of what, of how our creations, our creativity ties us in to others, and to a sense of a sense that we're not just in this by ourselves. Is it possible to benefit others through what it is that we create? I think for some of us that's going to be the case, right? I think for others of us may find that, as we're creating, what we may need to do is see beyond what we're accustomed to looking at as we do the creating. So we may have an idea that we're going in to create something very specific, or that we're working on something specific. But I suspect that there are areas and aspects of what we're working on right now that we are not seeing as they actually are. And so the energy we want to bring to this is from the Judgment card. We want to go beyond what we think we know, and see if there's a deeper truth behind what we're creating and what we need to put into it that could be unveiled. I think that's probably a better way to say it. And then finally, we want to know what we need to be mindful of and or prepare for in the coming week. Okay, so what do we need to be mindful of and or prepare for in the coming week? The ways in which we may be clinging to the past. Yeah. This would be the Five of Cups in a normal tarot deck, right? So we can sometimes create this, it's so easily done, isn't it? This horrendous space whereby things that we've done in the past are really influencing everything in the present. And so that's why we need this guy. That's exactly why we need this guy. Because if what we need to be working on right now is the present moment and what we want to create in our lives in the present moment, we need to reverse these, don't we? Do we? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as we're creating now in the present moment, we've got all of this old stuff hanging over us, right? Whether we're intentionally clinging to the past because there's something about the past that we really loved, and we really wish we could bring into fruition now, it's a moot point. It's also very likely that there are things that we cling to that we're not aware we're clinging to, right? The things that hang over us, and I like this sense that it blocks us in. It's like a blinder. We can't see the truth of what's going on right now because all we're able to see is what we used to think, what we think about stuff that is based on past ideas. So we're going to have to let go. Isn't that funny that came up where I was like, I'm struggling to read these cards because clinging to the past, right? And then I shut the camera off. Sorry, nose is itchy. I shut the camera off and I was like, I've got to think about this. Was this really the right deck or the best way to move forward this week? And I heard, no, you have to. You have to. This is the right deck. You know how to read. You can read this. And I couldn't because I was too busy doing this, right? So yeah. So in terms of creating things in the present moment that we are able to work with and use in the coming week, we've got to be willing to let go of this, or at least be aware of it, right? Even if we can't necessarily let go of this stuff, because let's be real, the Five of Cups will bring up some heavy stuff. We're not necessarily being asked to dump it so much as be able to see beyond it. We're being called to see beyond it. What is there that we're missing? And how might that affect what we want to create moving forward. Yeah. So, you know, this is our friend as we move into the week and look at what it is that we want to bring to fruition, you know, through this moon phase that we're in right now, and knowing that it's going to be affected by our past ideas, our past experiences, our past beliefs, self-concepts, ideas about what is or is not possible, and so forth. So if we can just have the ability to have a more balanced view of ourselves, of our creativity, of what it is that we're going to do, we should be okay. We should be okay. It should be a pretty clear path forward. So there we go. All right, friends, I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you again next week for the full moon. Take care. Bye.